Fire Rift is over already, but I had to build Kane and Haste for it, so we're going to try to get some usage out of them. This team clears Nightmare Vera very consistently. I've done it about 15 times so far and it hasn't failed yet, though we did get pretty close once, which you'll see later. There is also a really small chance that you fail at the very start of the run, but since it's at the very start, literally the first turn, and we have teleporters now, it's not a huge deal because you can just try again and teleport back now. For phase 1, Haste and Mercedes provide enough AoE to clear out the ads, and then Kane can take it down before it manages to spawn them again. For phase 2, Haste has a ton of debuffs, and Kane can add a bleed as well. For phase 3, Mercedes, Haste, and Kane all have AoE to help take out the eggs that spawn, and Kane's extra attack on his S1 as well as Magic for Friends from Mercedes and her extra attack on S2 when she has attack buff all help stack the extra damage modifier enough where you'll be able to kill even with bad Deathbreak RNG. Mercedes also has her built-in revive and Kane's got his immortality, so even with bad RNG it's not that easy to actually die. Now let's take a look at their stats. First up, Hazel. For Hazel, you want her to be the first person to move on your team so she can cleanse off all the debuffs when the egg hatches at the start of phase 1. You want at least 100 effect resistance so that the ads can't provoke or push her back, but 200 is also really nice so that Vera can't push her back either. Ideally, Haste is the second person to move on your team. This is mostly to mitigate a really small chance for you to fail at the start of phase 1, but it's not too important since it's at the start, so you can simply try again and teleport back if it happens. You also want at least 85 effectiveness after any additional sources. Alabastron gives free effectiveness, so I get some effectiveness there, so this is enough for me. For his EE, I like his bleed chance EE. It's not too important, this is just so he has more chance to land debuffs on phase 2 besides Deathbreak. You also want a bit of bulk so that he doesn't die in phase 3 since he has no built-in survivability tools. And attack, crit damage, and crit chance are nice as well to help clear the ads with his AoE. Next up is Mercedes. I have her built to move just after Hazel, or after Haste, and then I just stack damage on her. For Artifact, you can run Portrait if you want to help clear out the ads. I like Magic for Friends more since there's other AoE sources here, and the extra attack can help stack the damage increase on phase 3. Last up is Kane. You just want him to move after everyone else goes, so he only attacks after the ads have been cleared in phase 1, and then you just stack damage on him. A bit of speed, about 170, is nice, so he'll be able to take turns. At the start of the run, there's a small chance for you to fail, but since it's at the start, you can simply hit try again and teleport back. So when the egg hatches at the start of phase 1, it'll apply 1 of 5 random debuffs to your units. One of these debuffs is unbuffable, and the problem with Hazel's S3 is that it applies attack buff and then it cleanses the debuff. So you can see here, after Hazel uses her S3, Haste still doesn't have attack buff. If unbuffable lands on both your Mercedes and your Haste, and Haste misses his Deathbreak on the hatched spider, there's a chance that your Mercedes won't be able to kill if he doesn't have enough damage. You can mitigate this by giving your Mercedes a damage artifact like Portrait of the Saviors, but I like Magic for Friends more since it's more useful for phase 3, and this happens at the very start, so even if you fail, it doesn't really matter that much. The only other place you should be failing is in phase 3 if you have really bad RNG. I had pretty bad RNG on this run and still managed to clear, but I'd imagine it'd be less consistent with worse gear. It's about all I have to say, so here's the rest of the run.
지옥의 낫으로 갈라주지. 균열 너머로 허무의 지장까지.
서둘러주세요.
다른 선택지
부탁합니다.
여기서 죽어라.
알죠. 나랑 놀아준 대가야. 서둘러주세요. 부탁합니다. 블레이저!
아직 모르겠나? 님 살아남지 못해.
몰라요. 이상한데?
자, 박수를 내주마.
계획대로군요.
이거 나 참아들어.
어머나.
박수를 내주마.